You've tuned into The Mountain Gardener with your host, Ken Lain. Gardening, it can be challenging, but with these simple insider tips, you'll reap huge rewards. Now, let's tune into today's Mountain Gardener with Ken and Lisa. And we are back with Lisa Waters Lane in the studio. She comes each week. No, I was going to say garden questions. I've already done that. Just to share her garden knowledge, just what's going on in her gardens or with her gardeners that she consults with. So, welcome back to the studio, Lisa.
Thank you.
This is about gardening and therapy. And, I got this new Nespresso machine. This coffee is unbelievable.
So
I'm so happy.
Yeah. So, my question is,
Yeah.
you get a new Nespresso machine, you take it into your office at work.
Yes, I
At
did.
home, we still have this old ancient Keurig machine.
Well, it brews good coffee. My machine I had here didn't. This LED screen went out, so I got one because I couldn't read whether it was cooking, brewing, self-destructing, not cooperating, or what. So I figured it was time, and we had one of those. I think when we were in not North Korea, South Korea. I think we had an espresso machine in the room, or maybe it was Ireland.
It would have been North
someplace. Yeah, no, I got nothing over there. So anyway,
Pretty sure it wasn't
I
Ireland.
liked it, so I thought I'd try it.
Yeah.
It works.
No,
I'm happy.
cool.
I'm pleased.
I know where to come to get a good cup of coffee.
You know what, honey? You own one of the largest garden centers in the state. Feel free to buy one. Get one for yourself.
I'm too cheap,
Okay.
and I know
It's
it.
true. Gardening.
Which I'm not cheap about is gardening. I do love my plants. So, yes. So gardening. So I've had a lot of people in talking about how they want to attract more pollinators in the yard. Bees, butterflies, all those things that get out there.
Hummingbirds.
Hummingbirds, the things that help pollinate. And the big hit this past week has just been butterflies.
Yeah.
And it does. I always kind of lose track of when the butterflies come through, when they show up, but you are starting to see quite a few more out there in the yard. So it's a good time to put out things that attracts those butterflies.
I agree. I saw swallowtails way early, like March, April. It was really early. Then the painted ladies, the little tiny, like half-sized ones that have orange markings all over them. And then the monarchs show up in May sometime, typically end of April, May. And so now kind of everyone's out. All the butterflies are out.
Right.
So it's kind of fun to watch them. Of course, a lot of that is all about timing of flowers. Their nectar, they need a place to take in energy, and flowers are their source. And then some water. They'll be in kind of mud ponds and places where they're getting water and stuff. So, and all that's available now.
Right. Yeah, I did read that if you really want to attract the butterflies in, just having a little spot in your yard that has a little really moist, little muddy spot to that. They love that.
Yeah, so were your dogs. Your Labrador Retriever go out there and lay right in
said
and go,
little.
I'm coming in to lay down on that new couch you just got. You happy, Mom?
That's actually her little schnauzer the other day did that. There was a big puddle out at the store, actually. And she looked at me and she just laid out and flat laid out in it and just looked at me like, deal with that, lady. I was like, oh, little booger.
But dogs are fun.
Dogs are fun.
Cats
and
don't
so
do that. You should become a cat lady. You're a dog lady. Never
I'm a
mind.
dog lady. Our daughter's a cat lady. But butterflies, you digress. So a little muddy spot, perfect for them, but also a lot of the different flowers that you can put in. So butterflies like landing pads. They're not into the tubular stuff like the hummingbirds are. They like flat landing pad flowers.
They're like plaid landing pads.
Say
that. Yeah.
Moonshine yarrow is
yeah.
great for that. We got some new moonshine in that is just gorgeous. That bright yellow looks so nice out in the yard. We also got one called Desert Eve Red, which is a really nice
yarrow
red.
as well? Oh, nice. Okay.
So super plants, got a hot spot, put a yarrow in it. You got a spot that is a little drier maybe than some others. That yarrow is perfect for that.
Yeah.
The golden sphere coreopsis, which is a really round, it almost looks like a marigold.
Yeah.
A lot of people confuse them because it's just got this really big flower to it. It's absolutely gorgeous, but perfect to put out there for those little butterflies.
And both are
to
yellow.
land on.
So yellows and blues seem to attract pollinators better than anything else. So those are both yellows that are
Right.
strong. Perennials, those are all perennial.
Oh,
They come back
great
every year.
perennials, great perennials. Pincushion flower is another
Okay.
really good one for the butterflies. Has that real pretty purple, nice little pincushion flower
It looks like a
to it.
pincushion. The flower does. Hovers, what, about 6, 8 inches above the foliage.
Right.
Just kind of wavers, and you'll see a butterfly on there. And the winds kind of blow them around. They're just sitting there eating the nectar.
Right.
It's fun.
Lantana is another great one. So if you want a perennial one, the Miss Huff Lantana, which is kind of an orangey yellow one. There's also Marianne, which is a yellow pink one. It's very,
Is
very
that perennial
pretty.
as well?
It is.
Oh, Marianne is perennial.
I had a customer come in, I think last week, and there's this picture of this huge bush, and I'm like, well, she goes, what is that? I said, well, that looks like the Marianne Lantana. And it was down at the Chino Library.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
And it was
Yeah.
beautiful.
There you go. Great spot. And tough enough to take a commercial
Oh, yeah.
kind of setting where they tend to get neglected more.
Right.
There's less gardeners taking care of the gardens. So perfect for the Chino Library. Take a look.
Yes. Then we also have this perennial milkweed. So the milkweeds, they're not necessarily, they're laying the eggs on it more, right? It's not necessarily that
Right.
they're laying it, getting the nectar out of the flowers and stuff. So we have two perennial ones. We have the Cinderella milkweed. And we have the showy milkweed, and those are both perennial, so they're going to come back year after year, and they go down pretty cold.
Yeah, I think
mean, you
minus
can-
20 or
yeah.
15 or something like that. Really cold. Yeah.
Right.
And the reason they lay eggs on that is the larva will come out and eat the milkweed, and as they eat the milkweed, they become poisoned to birds. So birds won't eat them as long as they're eating milkweed. If they eat other stuff, birds will go, "Oh, delicious." But milkweed turns them, and that's the reason that monarchs have a certain color, striping. It's warning to the birds, going, "Don't eat me, because you know I'm going to be bad. I'll give you a stomach ache right now. If you eat right now, I'll give it, because I've been eating milkweed."
Right.
In fact, some of the varieties of butterflies will take on the coloration of monarchs just because, well, birds know don't eat this, so
Right.
they just kind of, it's brilliant. Just nature is
Nature
just so smart.
is so smart.
Yeah.
That is true. We also have tropical milkweed,
yeah.
which is a little bit showier in flower. It comes in the red and the yellow. That is a annual one, so you get one season out of it, but still beautiful, and you help the butterflies.
You
so
do.
Why not put
Pretty
it in?
and helping the butterflies.
Right.
That's great.
And then, of course, butterfly bush. You
Yeah, number
can't.
one.
You have to have that. And everybody goes, "Does it really?" Yes, it does. So they actually came out with a new one this year. It's called a sparkler series.
That sounds pretty.
It's really interesting. So it gets about 3 to 4 foot tall.
Perfect.
But the buds on it, instead of being long and spiky like most of your butterflies, they're kind of round and
Oh, pom-pom like.
pom-pom.
Oh,
like.
neat. That's kind of neat.
Yeah.
Like a sparkler.
Right. So we have the pink sparkler right now. Really kind of cool, kind of different. So if you've done a lot of butterfly bush and you're like, God, I want something different, take a look at those because they do look different.
I like the smaller size butterfly bush because you just don't have to care for them as much. These huge butterfly bush, they'll get 10, 12 feet tall. They got to be cut back really hard, kind of like pampas grass.
Right.
Well, these new series, you don't have to do anything with them. They just
Right.
keep them there and they're good to go. All right, Lisa, we are out of time. So
Okay.
great ideas for attracting pollinators, butterflies, bees, the hummingbirds to your yard here from Waters Garden Center.
Waters Garden companion plants for June are golden locust, moonshine yarrow, Hall's honeysuckle, and gilt-edged silverberry.
Gilded Edge Silverberry grows head high with bright gold and blue leaves that screens out the most obnoxious neighbors while standing up to blistering heat and wind.
The super sweet flowers are utterly animal proof. Even javelina and deer don't like the taste of this local shrub.
You'll find the best evergreen natives at Waters Garden Center, 1815 Iron Springs Road in Prescott. For a more fruitful garden, increase success in the landscape that just feels better, then tune in daily to the Mountain Gardener podcast. Subscribe through your favorite podcast streamer or visit watersgardencenter.com. Better yet, visit me directly right here at Waters Garden Center. Thanks for tuning in.